So welcome to this part 2 of setting up the back office. So we're going to continue where we left off, where we'd set up our view, and you can decide which view that you want, whether you want the simple view or the more comprehensive one. Okay, so the next thing we need to do within system settings, if we look at the options, is to go into your user settings. Now, you need to fill that in, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Your current passwords and code words are obviously hidden for security reasons, and only you can change them. So if you need to change them, then you basically enter your current password and then basically your new password, and exactly the same from the code words, and then you would update your settings. So that's very, very straightforward. I'm going to go through the clause library another time, but I'm now going to do the company settings because this is part of the setup. So here you would want to fill in all your company details, and also you can upload a logo as well, your logo. So that's again very self-explanatory. And then you can set up your email settings. Now this will allow you to send emails out from the system. And here you may need to have your IT guy talk to our IT guy because it's a little bit technical. But again, get the two guys together, or if you are technical, talk to our IT guys and we'll soon get you set up there. So as we go further down, again, I'm just setting this up. So the next one to set up is the LPA drafting. Now you can decide on your LPAs whether you have a strike through or you leave a box blank. So if it's not being used, you can strike it through, which most people do, or you can leave it blank. And again, you can choose whether you want a thin, medium or thick line. So again, choose how you want to set this up. It's your choice. So once we've set up our LPA, look, we're now going to have a look at manage users. So here we've got a few oddly named users here, and it's very simple. If you want to add a user, you just fill it in, and you can give them the passwords, which they can then change. You then, well, let's just do this. So if I put in Tom Brown, give him an email address, I'll use that one there. For speed, it gives us a little bit of extra there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the site name there as, well, so it'll be Tom will be the username, and then the password, I'll make it Tom password, and code word would be Tom code word. I would normally put in digits as well, and then I can select the type of user. Do we want the user to have access to all areas, be an administrator where they actually decide who the users are? Do we want just the back office or just the desktop, the instruction taking? So we'll make him just an instruction taker, and then we add the user. And now we can see we've got Tom Brown on there. And if we need to delete a user, so we're going to delete here Fred Nurk, we just literally delete it. So it's all very, very straightforward, and I'll do this one as well. So delete, yes, I want to delete it, okay, and that's that straightforward. So going through our SMS settings, again, you would want to call our technical there and they can help you. Now with the subscription settings, again, you can decide what particularly you want. so what package you want, and also how many users you want, and it will tell you how many days you've got until it subscribes. Ignore that 7-day free trial. That was the initial sort of thing that the person did, and then they moved on to a silver package for 6 to 10 users. If we go further down, this is the view settings. Remember, we did that in our previous tutorial. That's how the dashboard will look. And here, can you remember on the previous tutorial, on the more comprehensive look, you could add your own external web links. So you can add any web links you like just by clicking there, and that means you'll be able to do everything in terms of finding any, rather than Google something. For example, here I've got land registry. I can, within a client record under the more comprehensive view, I can click onto the land registry without having to Google it. We do offer a will checking service. It's defaulted to yes, because most people do want their wills checked, but if you prefer not to, you just check that down to no. Now, under will drafting options, I'm going to show you a bit of this. We have quite a few options on how your wills will look. So, for example, do you want to have a cover sheet? Do you want a border? Do you want your company name and address? Do you want a table of contents in your will? So I've put a number of options here. So round through here, we've got a number of options. We can also bring out a draft will if we want, and I've chosen a font which is Arial. Okay, I'll show you that, and I just update my settings, and what I want to show you is how that all works. So now, if I go to my admin dashboard, I've got two bits of new business. So I've got Frida Brown here, so I'm going to create a client record, and under client documents, I'm going to download Frida's will to show you. And now, if you have a look at Frida's will, you can see what format it's in. So that's the front sheet, that's the table of contents, and that's the form of the will. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go back to our options. I'm going to go back down to our will drafting options. And now I'm going to change a few things. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to have a border. Okay, I'm not going to have the table of contents. I'm not going to have the page headings. I'm going to get rid of the last will and testament on the revocation clause, and I'm not going to underline the headings. And what I'm going to choose here is Times as a font, and I'm going to now update it. So I've changed a few things there. So now what I'm going to do is go back to my admin dashboard, and I'm going to create Fred's will. Now if I have a look at the client documents here, we'll see how different this will is. So now can you see there's no border, there's no underlining, there was no last will and testament, it's in a different font, and you can basically choose within quite large parameters how you want your will to look. So finally, on part 2 here, we're just going to go to the workflow settings. Now the workflow settings, which we'll go into later, you can actually, on the more comprehensive, we'll have a traffic light system. Okay, so I'm just going to do this very, very briefly, and under the settings you can choose, for example, on a workflow here, do I want, how many days do I want between each of these stages? So it will track the stages to make sure you don't miss out of any of them. But I will go through in more detail those options. But basically, that's the second sort of setting up of the back office tutorial, and if you do that, then you'll be set up and well on your way to writing the wills. So I look forward to speaking to you in the next tutorial.